morning. Happy Friday. Oh my Lanta. It's Friday already. And I am once again super excited to be here with you. Now, as you can see, I have my glasses on today. I actually have been wearing my glasses a lot more than I usually have. But Miss Tiggy, I know that you're on here. Is the reflection okay? Because that always worries me. A lot of times I don't wear my glasses when I want to because I'm worried that there's going to be like some weird reflection in my glasses, and y'all are going to be like, "What is she? What is that? Why are her eyeballs like that?" So this is a check to make sure. Check, check, check. My reflection is okay because I worked on it for like the last 20 minutes. I got out some new lighting, I adjusted things, and I think I'm okay. But I would love confirmation from you all because it's going to be such a fun day. I don't know. I love my morning shows. I look forward to hanging out with you every single morning. But today on Fridays always seems so, I don't know, just kind of like we're just chilling and hanging out in my kitchen and telling funny stories and talking about life. And I absolutely 100% love that. In fact, I absolutely love my entire morning show. It's just turning out so cool, and it's like everything I wanted it to be. It's transpiring and it's amazing. Okay, so today we're going to do a couple of things. I finally got my nude lip to where I like it. And I'm going to show you the steps that I did. I used everything that I used yesterday. Hello, Lauren. So I used everything I used yesterday. I just used it in different ways. So I'm going to tell you about that. We're going to take a look back at the week, kind of like what I did. We're going to take a look at the week going forward. And then you're going to help me figure out a dating profile because I'm not really going to go online dating, but you know what? It's like yesterday when I was talking and I was talking about how I like had that crush on Turbo from American Gladiators. It got me to thinking, it's like, gosh, you know what? You have not thought about dating for so long. I mean, it doesn't even register in here. And then I started thinking back to like all the times that I did some online dating, and it's cringy to say the least. And then I was like, how would I even write up a profile these days? And then I thought, oh my gosh, I know how I would do it. I would have YouTube help me do it. I would have all of you help me write my dating profile. So we're going to end up doing that. And I think that's going to be fun. I think it is. I don't know. For some reason, it just seems really funny to me. But that's what we're going to be doing. And it's, again, super exciting. And let's start with my lipstick. Finally, the third time is a charm. And I got it to where I like it. And what I did really quick is I went back to my regular primer. This is the MAC Painterly Pro Longwear Paint Pot. Try saying that 10 times fast. Sounds like something out of a Dr. Seuss, like the Painterly Pro Wear Paint Pot. And I put that on as a primer. So I did primer my lips like she did in the original TikTok that I showed on Wednesday. Then what she did on her TikTok is she put on her liner first, and then she filled in like the corners, and she put some lines on her mouth. What was happening is it was making it too dark. It was instantly going to like really like that dark brown. So I, in my infinite wisdom, I put on the lipstick first, right on top of the primer. And this again is the Velvet Teddy from MAC. So I put that on. And then I did the lip liner. I did the lip liner just a little bit outside of the lines. And I took a Q-tip and I blended it in a little bit so you didn't have like that real hard kind of like line around your lips. And then I used my Halo Glow Beauty Wand, and I like using this just like I pat I like all my sound effects today. I just pat a little bit on my lips and it gives it a nice little highlight. It breaks up that solid color. So I put on my Halo Glow and then I got my e.l.f. Squeeze Me Lip Balm and I put that on. And the combination of those three in that order, I'm absolutely, I really like this nude lip. And I did my eyeshadow a little bit lighter to kind of go with like that light summer kind of look. And I am giving this my stamp of approval. So that's what I wanted to start with. And it was a fun week. You know what? Looking back, it was a super fun week. I went to San Francisco on Tuesday. I got my hair trimmed, so I'm super excited about that. I love my hair. I got some, Julie says, your lips do look great. Thank you, Julie. You know what? And to me, it was like, again, it was like taking the concept of what I wanted and just trying it in a formula that actually worked for me. And while the other lip color was fine, it wasn't really meshing with what I wanted. Kelly says, good morning, all. Good morning, Kelly. I did message you last night. I'm hoping everything went well with you. So, yeah, I hopefully, because you said you were having a rough day yesterday, hopefully everything is okay, because I know you've been going through some stuff. So what I wanted to say is, if you find something you like, if you find like a makeup look that you like or a makeup technique that looks cool, you know what? Try it in the way that you see it. But if it doesn't necessarily work for you in that way, just try mixing things up and try until you get to the results that you really want. So San Francisco on Tuesday. Wednesday was a recovery day because it does take a lot out of me. I mean, I get up so early. I got up at 2:00 in the morning. And then, yes, got your message and replied. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. I am glad that you did, and I will look at that as soon as I'm done with this live. Okay, so got some really cool things coming up. I got some things coming up with Doc Martens, and I'm, again, I keep saying I'm super excited. I am just super excited these days. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a vlog style of hanging out with me, like a morning in my life kind of thing. It's going to be a Saturday morning, and it's going to be packed full of stuff. We have all sorts of fun things that we're going to be doing on that one. And so that is that. So let's get right into this dating thing, all right? Because you know what, Kelly? Now you got me curious. Now I want to see what you replied. Because I can't sit here and concentrate and then be thinking about, because I did not see that message. So let me see if I can, responses with new replies. Okay, so all right, I don't see it, but I'll have to find it. So anyway, I'm sorry about that. I was really trying to find something. So back, let's talk about dating. Let's talk about dating. It's like, even the words coming out of my mouth, I'm like, it's been so long since I've thought about dating that I'm actually like, kind of makes me break out in a cold sweat. But I'm not going to go, I don't know. I mean, okay, that's just the whole thing. Like I said, it's like the whole thing makes me like go like, blah, 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 blah. So when I think about dating, here's what I think about. I think about something happening organically. All right. I think about like maybe going and I'm out filming and I run across somebody and I'm like, oh, you're interesting. And then he looks at me and he's like, oh, you're interesting. And then we start talking and then we have like a really cool relationship like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. I mean, that is ideally what I am looking for. But Tiggy says dating. Oh, thank God I don't have to do that. You are very fortunate. I'm going to tell you that right now because I am going to tell you some stories. But I think about like actively like, I don't know, like being like I need to find a partner in my life, kind of like I'm going to go on the hunt to find somebody kind of mentality. And that's what kind of gives me the willies because that's what I used to do. I used to do online dating all the time. And you have to remember, I did this online dating during my drinking period. So it's cringy to say the least. And I didn't make the best decisions while drinking. I didn't have the best self love when drinking. So my whole online dating experience reminds me of that period in my life. Now, can I go in and do it with a fresh look and, like the new me and the good energy? Absolutely, I could. But it comes down to the point of like, I don't actively want to find somebody. I just want it to happen. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm not. I have no idea. So I've seen a lot on social media about women. Yeah, Tiggy says, I think I would rather find my Golden Girls group at this point. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so here's a question. If you were going to be on the Golden Girls, who would you be on the Golden Girls? Gosh, do you remember their names? This is irritating. And let me find this really quick because I'm going to pose that question. Golden Girls. Let's see. There was, cast. There was Rose, Dorothy, Sophia, or Blanche. Okay. So who would you be? Which Golden Girl would you be? Which Golden Girl would you, hold on here, you be? We have, let's pin this. Okay. No, I'm not going to pin it. Yeah, we'll pin it. Okay, so we have Courtney would be Blanche. So Blanche was played by Rue McCallaghan. Kelly says LMAO, a cross between Sophia and Dorothy. Now, Sophia was Estelle Getty. She was the little, like, really super feisty one. And Dorothy was B. Arthur. All right. Courtney says, I'm the biggest Golden Girl fan. Tiggy says, you're Rose. Oh, Tiggy, you're the first Rose. That's so cool. So now I have to figure out who would I be. You know what? I would have to go with, I would be Dorothy. I think I would be Dorothy all day long. Lauren says, I don't know because I'm too young for the Golden Girls. So I don't know how they are, but I've heard of them. Okay, Lauren, you have Betty White who played Rose Nyland. And she was kind of like the scatterbrained kind of one to where she was super funny, but she was just kind of like, I think, a little scatterbrained. Then you have B. Arthur who played Dorothy, and she was like super like strong. She was kind of like the feminist. She was like the real dry humor kind of one. And then you have Estelle Getty who played Sophia, and she was like she was always seemed like she was the older out of the three, but she was like super spicy in kind of a not so much of an aggressive way like Dorothy was, but she had her punchlines. And then Rue McCallaghan played Blanche. Now, Courtney, you're going to kill me, but so Blanche was kind of like, tell me if I'm wrong, but she was kind of like the Southern Belle, kind of, almost like the straight person. Do you agree with me, Courtney? I'm having a hard time really like defining her kind of personality on the show, but she was the older, she was Dorothy's mother. Well, there you go. See, I knew you would know because you are my golden girl go-to. Lauren says, is there a clumsy one? Maybe either Rose or Blanche. We'll put you in between those two. So I agree. I would rather have a Golden Girl group than date, But here's the thing. It's like I'm looking at this whole dating thing like I did again when I was drinking. I'm looking at it in a really negative light. I've never had yes, Blanche was the boisterous one. Okay, love it. Thank you. So I've never really had a good I've never had a really good experience dating because I've never dated while I was sober. So it's really hard for me to have like that warm kind of fuzzy feeling about the thoughts of finding somebody. Tiggy says, what's so amazing is Estelle Getty was younger than all of them. Oh, that is cool. It was such a great show. And I remember watching it as when I was younger, and it was so progressive. Kelly says, boisterous, very polite way to put it. Courtney is quite she's quite politically correct sometimes. So, getting back to dating. All right. So now my history, when I think about it, is not a warm and fuzzy feeling. And I have seen it, and what I was going to say is, but I have seen like accounts on social media where they online date and they do it online and they show like the profiles and they'll be like, look at this profile and look at that profile. And they're actually making fun of these people. And that makes me equally mad and sad at the same time. Because you know what? I don't care who you are and I don't care what you look like. We all deserve the respect to be in our own space and to pursue having a relationship without becoming the butt of somebody's joke. So I am going into this. I was like, no, you know what? It would be really fun to write up a profile, but I'm not going to go on there and be like, look what I have to choose from, because it's just not nice. And I think we get back in life what we put out. And I am not going to be that person to make fun of somebody, because I've been on the other end of that. You know, I was in junior high school and I wanted to ask Guy Campbell to the Sadie Hawkins dance, and his friend Chip laughed in my face when I told him. So I know what it's like. I won't do it. But I'm going to give you a visual example of what my dating experience was like and what I'm looking for in a partner. So now I don't really like focus in on looks. I focus in more on the person and their energy. I'm drawn to people with a certain energy. And that energy that I am drawn to is very much, why are you doing this to me? Is very much this energy. This is 100% the kind of energy I am looking for when I'm dating. I look for a bear, and so much so, I even have a little bear paw tattooed on my arm, because this is the energy that I want in a partner. I want a strong partner. That's just it. I am not attracted to people that don't have that energy. Now, during my online dating experiences, this is, hold on here, I have to give you a visual. This is who typically would respond to my my dating profile. I was looking for a bear, and I ended up attracting nervous hamsters. And I am not too sure if it's me or if it's the energy that I was producing at the time, but I can 100% say with confidence, I am not looking for a nervous hamster as a partner. So this is where, when I think of online dating, I think of what I was attracting. So then I'm like, okay, Lonni, you know what? Again, you attract what you put out. I was having an issue with my drinking, and that's what I got. So every dating profile, my friends, have I don't know, kind of like an opening line. All right. Kind of like something that's going to catch their attention. So I need a title, I guess is the right way to put it. So I I look back at my dating profile, like when I was again drinking, and I was so aggressive. I was so like I was always angry, and my dating profile would be like, um, like angry drunk woman to date you, or it would be something along the lines of like, I don't need no stinking man. Hit me up for a date. So I would need something catchy, something to represent who I am. And I always want to, I don't know, in the past I would always want to like present the fact that I was a strong woman because it was really important for me. No, let me back up. I wanted to say I was a strong woman because that's who I wanted to be. That's not what I was representing to myself. So in my mind, I was thinking like, if I come off like really, really strong and aggressive, they're going to know that I'm a strong, aggressive woman, which actually I wasn't. I was just an angry drunk. So I would have to have something like, oh gosh, woman hasn't dated in a while, hit me up. I don't know. I see, this is why I need help. I need active participation on today's live. If you were going to come up with a title for me on a dating app, what would it be? Like outspoken and ready for a good time? I don't know. This is the whole thing. It's like date a tattooed golden girl. See, I tell you right now, I am tanking right out of the box because I couldn't imagine being some guy and just scrolling along and be like, oh wow, yeah, no, I've always wanted to date a tattooed golden girl, or angry tattooed woman hit me up for a date. It's I I just can't. I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I could do something like, we can date, but I probably won't like you, or no hamsters apply. Do you get where I'm going here? So yeah, right away. Ready for some new adventure? I don't know. Yeah. I could be like, I'm ready for some new adventure because I don't want them to think it's code for hey, you ready for a good time? Because they would be extremely disappointed. So I like that one, Lauren. Ready for some new adventures. So we could be like, ooh, I could be like travel partner wanted, or you if you sleep on your friend's couch, you don't need to apply. I don't know. It's like, because yes, my friends, I actually dated a gentleman who was sleeping on his friend's couch. And believe it or not, I mean, the crazy thing is he moved in very quickly once we started dating. And I can't imagine why. Can you? Did the relationship last? No, absolutely not. And that's just the whole thing. It's like, that's where I'm drawing my experience from is from these past dating failures. So we're going to go with my opening title of looking, because if I say looking for an adventure, it's going to be like, what are you looking for? So I think I'm going to say something like travel buddy wanted. No, that sounds kind of weird. I'll go with Lauren's. I'll go with I'm ready for some new adventures. So that way they know, like, it's not like, like I'm not looking for an instant husband, like add water and we're going to be, in a relationship, because I've already determined I'm never remarrying. It was a one and a done for me. I'm not looking for that. I'm too set and I'm too independent, and truthfully, I don't need a marriage certificate and I don't need that kind of those ties. I'm not having any more kids. I don't have a uterus, so I'm way past that time. So there's just, I'm done with that. So I like that. I like that one. And what did I say? Looking for new adventures or travel buddy will apply. One of those. So yeah, I'm looking for new adventures. That's right. So let me write that down because we have to keep this in I'm looking for new adventures. Or not I'm looking. New adventures on the horizon. We'll do something like that. I'm looking for new adventures. But I don't. Fierce, feisty, independent, tattooed lady looking for a partner to go on new adventures. I like that. Because I am fierce, I am feisty, I am independent and tattooed, and I am looking for a partner to go on new adventures. Kelly, you hit that one perfectly. All right. So, fierce, feisty, independent, tattooed lady looking for a partner to go on new adventures. Now, here's the kicker. And here's one of the things that I ran into when I was dating online. And trust me, when I was dating online, I had a fraction of the tattoos that I have now. I have gone full steam ahead with tattoos in my 50s, and I did the online dating in my 40s. Now, even with just this amount of a sleeve, nothing on this arm, nothing below my arm right here, I would get gentlemen responding out of the blue, and they'd be like, wow, you know what? You look really interesting. You look fun. You're pretty, but I can't date you because of your tattoos. And my response was always like, what gives you and what even makes you think like I would date you? Why do you think that you're the one who's eliminating me when you're not even in the running? And so, I mean, I had people reach out to me and tell me that I'm going to hell. I've had people reach out to me and tell me that they could never take me to a corporate event because they would be too embarrassed to be with me, but they would date me. They just couldn't take me to a corporate event. And I'm like, what makes you think that it is okay to tell me that I am acceptable enough to date, but not acceptable enough to be seen in a corporate event? So these are the things, these are real things that have happened. These are real comments that I have gotten. So, you know, when I go into this whole dating thing, I go in guarded because these are the comments that I have received. And if I'm hearing them, I know other people hear them. Courtney says, who wants to go to some boring corporate event anyway? You know what? And that's just the thing, Courtney. It's like I can walk into any room and I can be just as smart, just as polished, and just as relevant as some other 58-year-old lady who has 0 tattoos. And it's that kind of ideology that I think is stuck in men over 50. Because it's like, I mean, that's who these comments were coming from. So if you are a man over 50 and you're like, well, I don't think that way, you know, I don't want to ever lump anybody into any sort of like every single person at this age, things like that, because I don't think that's right, because I don't want to be lumped into anything. But the majority of comments I get, that's exactly where they come from. Oh, okay. Lauren says, I'm leaving in a few minutes, so I'll see you all on Monday. Absolutely, Lauren. And be sure to check. I'm going to be posting the schedule for next week's live on Sunday. So, okay. So I have to deal with the whole fact that men my age typically don't like this many tattoos, which is perfectly fine. You know what? Because if you can't appreciate somebody for their own individuality and their own self-expression, you got no room in my life. There's no room for that in my universe. And I didn't even think about my hair. Could you imagine me on a dating profile? I would have every single scared hamster on that platform apparently would be going cuckoo. So I'm just like, yeah. So anyway, we have our opening title. It is Fierce, feisty, independent, tattooed lady looking for a partner to go on a new adventure. All right. So now I have to write a bio. And what's funny is it's like, and again, I keep on referring back to this, but this is the only thing that I have to refer back to is what I used to write when I was actively dating online. And I tell you right now, it was aggressive. And it was so much like, you know what? I mean, I came right out of I came like first sentence would be like, I don't need you. If I want to date you, I'll date you, but I don't need you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so aggressive. But I was seeing all these profiles on there of women my own age who were like looking for like, how can I put this? They were coming across as they needed to be rescued. And I think that that is such a thing. It's like, I think that there, it's the whole dynamic of like strong man, woman needs that strong man. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your vibe, again, that's your vibe. I'm not telling you that if you are out there and you're actively looking for a partner and you want that man in your life to, to help you out, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is a division of women out there who are my age, who are independent, who don't need a partner. They're just looking for one. And that is such a unique and sometimes difficult thing to find because society is so wrapped up in our roles that when you don't fit into a role, you just don't fit in. Then let's take this one step further, my friends. We've already discussed like fashion over 50. We've already looked at what we're being told through the media, through advertisement, through Google, through everything. When you think of a woman over 50, you're getting a very beige, neutral, blending in type person. That is how we are presented, and that's how we are shown. That's how we tell ourselves we're supposed to be. So then men my age are like, but I don't want blending in. I don't want beige. I want this. I want that. And they typically date younger women. Nothing wrong with that. You know what? There's a lot of women out there that get really upset when older men date younger women. Well, you know what? If that upsets you, date a younger guy. You know what? Don't wear beige. Don't blend in. Be fiery. Find somebody who matches your energy regardless of your age and then date that way. So again, you look on these profiles and then all the gentlemen who I would find that I would be like, ooh, that he looks really interesting. I would look at the age range that they would have and it would be like, I'm looking for somebody who's 25 to 35. And I'm being like, well, that's not me. I am way over that. I have the same energy. I have the same vibrance. I have a lot of the same characteristics, my my shape might not be exactly what it was when I was 35 or 25, but I still have the same energy. But it was like I wasn't even in the running because, again, people think that at a certain age you act a certain way. So anyway, I got a little distracted on that thought. But my profile was just 100% aggressive. And here's the thing. It's like when I was writing these profiles, I already knew that I was an alcoholic. I already knew I had no self-confidence. I already knew I was up against women who were 10, 15 years younger than I was. And instead of having the confidence of who I was as a person at that time, I already was telling myself I was going to get rejected. And for me, rejection brought pain. And my go-to reaction to pain was anger. So I went into this whole dating cycle of like, I know you're going to reject me. So I am going to reject you before you reject me in a manner that's going to make me feel good about myself because I am not strong right now. I am not brave right now. So I am going to be louder and meaner to try to prove to myself that I am strong. So do you see where this whole big wheel, this big cog of energy, how it produces what it produces? I mean, looking back at it now, it is so easy for me to dissect why I did what I did and why I got the results I got because of how I was as a person and how the energy that I have was being produced. So here I am. I'm 58 years old. I'm going to be 59. Oh my gosh, in like 35 days, I'll be 59. And I am such a different person and I present myself so much. But what has happened is that from going from here where I was that angry person and I was rejecting people before they even rejected me, I cocooned myself so then that way I could find myself, I could heal, I could figure these things out. And I have not opened that door to any possibilities during this time that I was figuring this stuff out. And it wasn't until yesterday when I was talking about, dating, how I would have loved to have dated that American Gladiator guy, but it didn't work out because who I was as a person, I didn't realize that I had closed myself off so much that I wasn't even allowing the opportunity to meet somebody, to have a partner in my life for these adventures. So that's why yesterday I went starting into this Friday just talking about life kind of episode. To me, it was like such an aha moment that I'm like, no, I really need to explore this more for myself. And also too, if you're doing any sort of if your energy isn't producing what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you really want in your life, I wanted just to be able to be like, if life is not giving you the results that you want, you have to stop and you have to take a look at your energy, see what you're putting out, and then take the time to fix that in your life. So it was just kind of like I said, it was one of those aha things. And here's the thing. It's like even this morning when I started this live stream, I wasn't 100% sure about where I was in my life. And it wasn't until I was talking to you and I was talking about who I was and what my profile used to look like that it really just kind of like two and two came together. And I'm like, oh, that's why. That makes sense now. So instead of walking out, because I'm out and about all the time, I have absolutely so many, yes. Ooh, yeah. So Courtney says, I would mention that you're sober in the description, ward off any bad eggs at the bat. Absolutely 100%. That's a non-negotiable item. Because when you're going into a relationship, to me, it's like you have your give and your takes. You have things that are important to you, but if you meet somebody and they have a different view on it, you can meet in the middle. You can be like, well, I really love this person, so you know what? It's like, for example, you meet somebody and you really love them, and he's a cat dad, and you're like, I'm not really a big fan of cats. What do? Do you not be with the person that you love? Or are you like, well, I'm not really a cat person, but he really loves his cat, so therefore I am going to learn to love his cat also. That's a negotiable item. You can negotiate that to where you end up with the person you love and you have a life built together. A non-negotiable item for me is 100% like a drinking kind of persona. Now, you have to understand that I would need a partner to know I drink very sparingly, if at all. Yes, and here's the thing. All right, there is a huge difference between, hi, my name is Chuck, and I have a beer with my hamburger every once in a while. Big difference. All right, Chuck, you have your beer with your hamburger. That's perfectly cool. I'm going to have my lemonade or my tea. We're going to get along great. Now, you have Larry, on the other hand, who's like, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to go to a bar every Friday and Saturday night and I'm going to drink myself silly. And not only that, but every day when I get home, I'm going to crack me open a beer. And not only that, but I'm going to tell you, you should drink too. That is a non-negotiable. Larry, you are never getting within an inch of my universe. So there's that difference. There's such a difference between a casual drinker, somebody who can occasionally have, like I said, a beer with a burger, or they go out for a drink after work with their friends every 6 months or so. A casual drinker I can handle. Larry, the bar crawling, gonna drink every day, that's a non-negotiable. Could not be in that relationship because that's who I was. I was Larry. I was Larry in the relationship. I was at those bars. I was drinking that. I was a horrible partner. I couldn't have a healthy relationship if you hit me upside the head with it. So I know these things, and that is why I have to stay away from it. Another trigger for me is gambling. If Larry is like, yeah, you know what? When I'm not drinking, I'm at the casino gambling. It's non-negotiable. I'm like, I couldn't even be near that. And probably too, another one would be a smoker, because I used to smoke and it would just, I don't struggle with not smoking. I just find the smell a little unappealing. Let's just put it that way. So there are very much some non-negotiables. So I would have to for sure put that in my description. Like, I live a sober lifestyle. If you want to have an occasional beer, good for you, but I'm putting it right now. No Larrys are welcome. And so that's a hard fact. But here's the thing. How much information do you put out right away? Because on my dating adventure, when I made all of these wonderful decisions, said with sarcasm, I actually started, I met a guy online, and he was a very professional, successful businessman. He lived in Orange County, and he was good looking, and he came down. We went out for dinner, had a conversation. There was a little in the back of my brain. Something just wasn't right. But you have to remember, with alcohol, you're not the quickest thinker. So I agreed to meet him again, and we had another lovely dinner. Again, the little me in the back of my brain was like, Lonni, girl, there's something just isn't quite right. And I'm like, nope, everything's fine. Because that's how I made my decisions. So I had dinner with him yet once again. And, things were starting to get a little serious. And it hadn't gotten that serious, but it was leading to that. And so I'm like, finally, somewhere in the recesses of my mind, my sober self was like, you need to look into this a little bit more, Lonni. So I'm like, okay. So I Googled his name because he had a very interesting name. It was very unique, and it was very easy to find that he had just gotten out of prison for an SA. I'm not going to say the whole thing because y'all know what that is if you're anywhere on social media, against his ex-wife. So he had attacked his ex-wife, and he had spent time in prison, and he did not disclose that on his dating app. So I was instantly like, oh, no. So I call him, and I'm like, dude, when were you going to tell me? And he's like, well, that's not an easy thing to tell people. I'm like, you know what's not easy is finding it out on my own. That's not easy. This is non-negotiable. And he's like, well, that's not really fair because, that was my past. And I'm like, again, that's fine. You have your past. You find somebody who's okay with it. I am not okay with it. Even in my, I can't love this lip color enough. Sorry, off topic. I know, Courtney, I'm doing the same thing. I'm talking to you all and I'm staring at my lip. So my lips. So don't feel bad about that. So, okay. So even in my drunken state, I knew that that was a non-negotiable. So cut it off. Nope, not going to have anything to do with you. So I was still online dating and I still had the app. And I could see that he was still active on there. Now, he didn't change his profile. He wasn't like, hey, ex-felon here looking for love, which, again, everybody deserves love. But I saw on Facebook that he was dating somebody I knew professionally. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? Do I do the right thing? Do I call her? Do I tell her? Is it my business? What do I do? So then I'm all like, well, if roles were reversed, I would want to know. You know what? That's just the way I am. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to tell her because I would want to know. So I call her. And I'm like, hey, this is kind of like a weird kind of conversation, but the guy you're dating? Well, I dated him for a couple of dates, and here's what I found out. And she's like, great, yeah. She was like, I don't care. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, I don't care. She was like, past is past. What he does now is up to him. So the moral of my story is that, it's so fun. It's not really funny, like funny, but it's just kind of odd how it's like one non-negotiable can be a negotiable for somebody else. So that brings me back to like, how much do I disclose in my description? And of course I would disclose that I've been sober for 9 years. If you want to have if you want to be a casual drinker, great. But if you are an active drinker, you don't need to apply. And then, do I disclose that I haven't had a date in like a decade? Because believe it or not, that is a real red flag for a lot of people. I mean, if you don't date, people think there's something wrong with you. Yeah, dude shouldn't be allowed near women at all. I agree 100%, Courtney, but the problem is, again, that there's people out there that are okay. They're like, well, I'm sure he learned his lesson. And to me, it's like, that's a lesson that I don't have the capacity to get past. And for me personally, I don't have a capacity to get past cheating. I don't have the capacity to get past physical altercations. These are things to me that I have lived through. And to me now, fast forwarding to being 58 years old, I just don't have the capacity for forgiveness in certain areas. So that just happens to be one of them. So, so I would disclose, I would say something along the lines again that, I've been sober for 9 years and we can't go gambling, something along those lines. And if you light up, that's probably not going to work for me either. Just because for me, it's like I am so hair triggered with addictions that I have to be very mindful of any and all addictions. So I have to walk that fine line. My sobriety is the most important thing to me. Now, so it would be something like 58-year-old, independent, feisty, looking for a bear kind of energy, who doesn't drink and likes adventures, and I don't think that that's like aggressive. And if you feel that you have, if you feel like you have those qualities, then you can reach out to me. Tiggy says, need to make it real clear what you will accept, nothing, including bad music, politics. You know what, Tiggy? And that's crazy that you bring that up, because when I was actively dating online in my 40s, which was, you know, let's just say 10 years ago, all right? When I was dating online 10 years ago, politics were not the hot topic like they are now. And I 100% am not going to draw a line in the sand on politics, but it is so much um, the divide in politics is so intense right now to where it wasn't before. I mean, there's always been the red and the blue. There's always been the left and the right. There's always been that division, Democrat, Republican. It's always been there. But for some reason, it has gotten to the point where it's like, in my mind on Capitol Hill, I see people like pushing desks aside and they painted this big line down the floor and they're like, they have like little fortresses, like, you know, like remember when you were a kid and you had rock wars and they're sitting there and they're throwing staplers at each other. And there's no even remotely idea conceptualization of ever thinking of unity. So I 100% agree with you, and that is very sad. And to me, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, so long as you have respect for the other side. I have my opinions, I have my thoughts, and I have my beliefs all day long, but I am not going to tell somebody else that their thoughts, beliefs, and ideologies are wrong because they're not mine. I'm willing to listen to the other side so long as they're willing to listen to me. And I'm not going to tell you what side I'm on because that's how divided it is. But I am one that absolutely 100% is gearing more towards unity than making this divide bigger. Kathy says, "Hi Lonni, just caught you. Time difference here in the UK, 5:50 p.m. here." Ooh, hi Kathy. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you could make it. Let's see. Courtney says, "When it comes to decisions on human rights, I cannot be with someone who doesn't agree." Yeah, Courtney, that's yes. And you know what? And truthfully, the whole thing is, and here's the big picture on that, and I absolutely agree. But I am, how can I put this? How can I put this? See, the thing is like, I don't think I would be attracted to somebody who didn't have certain values that I have. But it's not, but I'm not, I don't agree with certain values. But again, I think by not agreeing, we have to learn to see more unity in the middle. To me, that's just the way it is. But I 100%, like I said, I have my beliefs and I have my thoughts, and I want somebody who is in the same general area that I'm in, because I couldn't go somebody far left, and I couldn't go somebody far right. I mean, that's just the way it is. Callie says, "Yes, you can have your beliefs, ideology, etc., but do not ram it down my throat or try to change my mind." Absolutely. Exactly. And then Courtney says, "Exactly. I simply wouldn't be attracted." See, and that's the thing is that I wouldn't be attracted to somebody who is like completely like, my thoughts and my ways are the way that you're going to think. I 100% would not be okay with that. And here, if we really want to get deep into this subject, a lot of times men my age have a tendency to have this thought in their head. And again, I don't want to lump every man into this thought process, but I have run across enough of them who still have that ideology of like, I'm the man, so I'm right. And then here comes this little buzz cut, short, tattooed, gray-haired woman who's like, "No, I don't care. I don't care if you're a man, woman, or a buffalo. I'm not going to believe you just because you're saying it." And that's where I butt heads with a lot of gentlemen my same age, because I 100% am not going to participate in that way of thinking. All right. I don't think I should be looked at in a certain way because I'm a woman. I mean, I don't think men should have more authority because they're a man. So I don't know. It's just, it's such a weird kind of like it's a weird time to date in my age bracket. Let's just put it that way. Kelly says, yes, physical attraction is only one aspect of a relationship. Absolutely. And that's just the thing. It's like, I mean, I could be walking down the aisle of a grocery store and some guy walks by me and I'm like, hmm. And then I'll be walking and some other guy walks by me and I'm like, oh, yeah. And they can have similar looks, but one of them just catches me. And it's because a lot of it is because of the way he's carrying himself, the energy he's producing, just a vibe about him. And that is, it's not only the looks, it's the vibe, it's the entire package. Kathy says, same as accept me as I am or leave me alone. Yes, absolutely, Kathy. And I think that if we did that more, if we just took people for who they were and they're like, I take you for who you are and I'm going to love you for who you are, we would be in a better place of just acceptance. Because a lot of times, I mean, a lot of times people go into relationships and they're like, I like you, but if you do this, I'll love you even more. For example, I dated a guy for a very long time and and I didn't realize what he was doing until years after our relationship. And he wasn't doing this with malice, but the end effect is just the same. And what he would do is he was much more well off financially than I was. I was a single mom working 2 jobs and he owned his own business. So he had money to spare. And what he would do is what he would do would be like, you know, I saw this, like, it was Faith Hill. I saw Faith Hill in this outfit, and I think you would look so much better in this outfit. I'm going to buy you this outfit. And where I was in my mind at that time, again, remember, no confidence, no self-esteem, no sense of who I am today. I was like, wow, yeah, no, this is great. He must really love me. He's going to buy me new clothes. Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to look prettier when I wear this because Faith Hill's gorgeous. That's what I told myself. I told myself I was going to be a better version of me if I looked like somebody else. These days, if somebody were to come up to me and be like, I love this outfit and I think you would look great in this outfit. You would look so much better in this outfit. I would turn around and walk away. I'd be like, either you take me for who I am with my distressed jeans, my tennis shoes, my Doc Martens, my gray hair, or I'm out of here. And in fact, here's the funny thing is I still talk to him. We are still friends. Again, I don't think what he was doing was malicious, but I wasn't strong enough at the time to take it, dissect it, and really realize how his actions were hurting me. But like I said, we're still friends. And I was talking to him the other day and he mentioned to me, he's like, so buzzed head, huh? And I'm like, yeah. Now remember, I'm a new person now. I am confident who I am now. So he's like, because we were on the phone and he's like, it's interesting. I go, I didn't ask your opinion, dude. And he's like, how long are you going to be doing that? And it was so easy for me to pick out what he was doing. And I was instantly like, you know what? It's my hair on my head. I'm going to keep it for as long as I want. I got to go now. Love you dearly. I'll talk to you in another 6 months. And I hung up. And to me, if I were to be like, hey, you know what? Listen, the things you just said were really hurtful, really it really upset me like this. He wouldn't have gotten it. You know what? He would have been like, wow, why is she saying that? I didn't have that intention at all. But there are some people in this world that I am not meant to fix, and he is just one of them. But I was strong enough within myself that I caught it instantly, and I was like, nope, you are not allowed to make me feel bad about my version of myself. So Kelly, that is, or I'm sorry, Kathy, that is absolutely 100% the best statement. Accept me for who I am or leave me alone. And a lot of times people come into our lives trying to fix us, not knowing that they're actually harming us instead. So it's very much a live and let live kind of philosophy. Now, um, gosh, so I guess here's the thing on this, and you know what, and I kind of came into this whole thing as, I mean, in complete honesty, kind of like a joke, kind of like, ha ha ha, let's make a funny dating profile. But the reality is that this ended up for me being more of a real learning lesson for myself of where I am now, why I did the things I did, and the simple fact that I don't have to have um, such a negative view on dating because I'm a different person now. Okay. There might be the same dating pool out there. I don't think that has changed, but I myself have changed. And I need to realize that. And I need to be okay with the possibility of finding somebody to go on adventures with because that's all I want. I don't want any. Okay. Remember the video that I did where it was like things to wear and things not to wear? And she said, don't wear short shorts because your legs are going to get stuck to your seat. Just happened. I was trying to move and my legs near my buttocks was like, no, we're going to stay here. You can move. I'm fine where I'm at. So I had to peel the back of my leg off the chair. And if that's too much information, I am sorry, but that is what just happened. So, oh gosh, really quick, I want to show you, something really quick. And because that hour went by fast. Now, I have been all about, remember, I've been all about, do you buy, knockoff things or free people like things from Amazon for half the price, or do you save your money and buy things from free people? It's constantly Kelly says that's too funny. It's the truth. I had to share my pain with you, Kelly. So do you save your money and buy the more expensive free people thing, or do you buy it from Amazon? And let me show you what I got. So because it is, you have to have a visual. You have to have it. So I got this romper from Amazon, and it was $22.98. It looks just like the Free People Hot Shot romper. I've gotten it before. It had a real nice thick material, but you see right here, we're going to come over here and we're going to look at this area on the model. See where it's like, okay? See how there's a definition kind of on the pant legs? With the Free People version, it was like, this right here, the hem was seriously like from here to here. So what was happening is it almost felt like a mini dress that somebody sewed together right there to make the romper. And I wasn't really, it didn't really hit me well. Let's just put it that way. I think I was too short and it went too far down to my knees. So I got that one from Amazon for $22.98 and I was going to wear it today. And I get it out of the package and I'm like, okay, it's soft, but it doesn't quite have that real, like, the Hot Shot onesie where it's like, oh my gosh, that material is just insane. Didn't really have that, but it's still soft. So I'm like, I like the black because the Hot Shot Free People one is like a washed black, and you can rarely get a true black item. So I'm like, well, I like the color, so I'm going to try this on. And then I'm like, you know what? I want it to be a little bit baggier, so I'm going to adjust the straps and whoop, whoop. So I'm going to adjust the straps. What happened here? Hold on. And I got to make sure I'm still okay. Oh, darn it. Hold on, everybody. Okay. Hmm. And I am back. Sorry about that. Wow, that was really weird. I am so sorry about that. Something happened on my computer. So, Courtney, am I still live? Can you still see me? I want to make sure that everything is still connected because when I was moving things around, I pushed a button. So, am I? I think I got lost, but I think I came back. So, hello, am I back? Sorry about that. So, anyway, so I was adjusting the straps to make sure that I had that baggy look, and it broke. It instantly broke. And I'm like, this isn't cool. You know, I want my straps to be connected. And then I'm like, well, I could sew this, but I don't want to buy something and then have to sew it. So here's my dilemma. Yep, I'm back. Still here, Lonni. Okay, cool. So bummer. And this is my point. It's like sometimes I think that we spend money to save money and it ends up costing us money. So we're going to look more into this week. We're going to take a deeper dive into some Amazon free people like items, and we're going to that's going to be one of our topics for this week. So, what are we talking about this week? Because we have been on for an hour and 6 minutes. So coming up this coming week, Monday, we are talking about food again, and I'm going to share some recipes that are perfect for summer because believe it or not, Monday is going to be July 3rd. And we are going to look at some real nice summer recipes that not only are yummy to eat, but I am all about eating food that's going to kickstart my metabolism because there are some things that I eat that put me straight to sleep. And then there's some things that I eat that give me a lot of energy. And if I'm going to be eating, I want the energy. So we're going to be looking at some really cool recipes, talk about the weekend and all that good stuff. Now, Tuesday is the 4th of July. I will be on live Tuesday morning, just like normal. But instead of talking about tattoos, we are going to be having an hour-long episode dedicated to sobriety because you all know I'm sober. I've been sober now for 9 years. And my trigger day, the hardest day out of any day of the year, is the 4th of July. And it's not that I want to pick up a beer and drink it, but 4th of July typically brings back the worst memories. It brings back that memories of planning on having a barbecue and doing things with my kids and being passed out by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're going to dedicate Tuesday for all about sobriety, whether you're sober curious, whether you've been sober, whether you're struggling with your sobriety. I'm going to tell all sorts of stories, and we are having an hour-long program dedicated to sobriety. Then on Wednesday, I'm going to be buzzing my hair again because it will be a week and a day since Ken cut my hair, and I really want to keep it this short. So on Wednesday, we are buzzing my hair. Thursday, we are taking a deep dive look into some Amazon fashion, and we'll be talking about that, and I'll be giving you some thoughts and some things on that. And then next Friday will be again, let's just talk about life. Sometimes it will be a Q&A, sometimes it will be something off topic, but it's going to be just a fun hang out with me and let's just talk episode. Now, I don't know if you all can hear her tippy taps, but Indy knows when I'm about ready to end my stream. And what is it? Oh, there must be a bunny rabbit in the backyard because she's looking very upset. So we will be doing that next Friday. Oh, there's my microphone as it's like. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode of just, online dating in general, just your energy. And if something in there resonated with you, just know that sometimes we get what we put out. I think the majority of the time we get back what we put out. So just make sure the energy that you're putting out and your self love is right there. I'm filming another episode tomorrow of A Day in the Life. This is going to be a morning in my life. Saturday, we have all sorts of things that we have to do. Gosh, I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every single one of you. You are such a vital part of my platform. You're such an important part of my world. You give me so much encouragement, and I love you all so, so much. So with that, have a great weekend. Be bright, be bold, be brave, be amazing, be you. And I will see you all on Monday. All right. Bye, everybody. Love you. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Kelly.